Hey everybody, it's Golmadex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of MTG Foundations. Without further ado, let's get into our Pack 1 Pick 1, which has some sweet uncommons here. The two favorites of mine are Infernal Vessel, which is excellent with sacrifice cards. To be able to sack this, bring it back as a 4-3, but even just trading it off, bringing it back as a 4-3 is a pretty good deal. But there's also Sarah Angel, which is an absolute classic and still a great card to this day. Just a big evasive threat that also holds up a 4 toughness blocker every turn with that vigilance. Sarah Angel's also pretty sweet, but I really like black in this format, so I'm going to lean towards that with Infernal Vessel here. And pick 2, there we go. There's a stab to go with our Infernal Vessel. There's also Fiery Annihilation. It's pretty great removal out of red, but it is moving to another color for a slightly better removal spell. Horn Beetle's pretty nice and green. Angel Finality's solid, but this is quite an easy stab. Pick 3, some decent flying uncommons here, but I think we just stick to black. All three of these cards are perfectly reasonable, but I really like Hungry Ghoul with Infernal Vessel. The Seeker's Folly flexibility comes in pretty clutch, though. Some matchups you just ruin your opponent's life when you -1/-1 their board, but also a well-timed Mind Rot can matter, the discard too. But I think Hungry Ghoul, when we've got the Infernal Vessel, looks pretty great. This pack's pretty weak overall, but we do have the Involuntary Employment. That's a fun little combo with cards like Hungry Ghoul. So if we go Rakdos Sacrifice, take a bunch of ways to sack stuff, stealing our opponent's card, then sacrificing it can be decent. Okay, now we finally see some pretty good removal here out of Luminous Rebuke. Pilfer is a certainly playable, decently solid playable in the format, so we could stick to black off that, but I'm going to speculate on this removal spell and have two options for our secondary color. Okay, well, Zool is pretty good with Hungry Ghoul. We're going to need to get some premium Gombies. We're going to need to get some premium zombies here, but I think Hungry Ghoul fits the bill. And the 4-drop Soul Shackled zombie as well, so if we can wheel that, that'll be really nice. But getting this in pack 1 means we can take the time and make sure we have enough zombies to recast from our grave. So I'm going to grab that here. We could also take Dragon Trainer and just commit to Rakdos here. This gives you a piece of sacrifice fodder with the 1/1 body while giving you that 4/4 flying win condition. So the card is pretty great. But I like doing some zombie nonsense here. When we get an early Zool, we can definitely build around them. Now we have Sanguine Siphoner, Seeker's Folly, Llanowar Elves, and Bloodfell Caves. I don't think there's any green zombies in the format. I think the only zombies are mono black, so the only thing we know for certain is that we're black. We could speculate on the pick 7 Llanowar Elves. But if I just hate green in the format enough, I could just take Seeker's Folly. I'll get speculative. We'll throw 1 Llanowar Elves here as an option. Pick 8 Prideful Parent is quite solid. Pick 9, now a Goblin Surprise for the red deck. A little bit of sack fodder there. Gutless Plunder is really good at filling our graveyard, which could matter for multiple reasons. Right now it just matters for Zool, but there's other ways that that card can play well. And there we go, pick 11 Soul Shackled Zombies, so we are probably going to wheel a lot of these 4-drop zombies, since we saw that one really late. So Zool is going to be active here. We want to take the Hungry Ghouls pretty highly, because I think those are going to get picked a lot higher than the more expensive, like 4-mana zombies. But they're all going to be good in this deck. Yeah, pick 12 is garbage. All right, let's see what we open up in pack number 2. Drakaseth? We trying to hit 7 mana? Triple red? I doubt it. There's a really strong on-color card already with Tragic Banshee. This is particularly good when you have cards like Hungry Ghoul that can make it really consistent to make sure that you've got a Morbid trigger. Without the Morbid, it's pretty weak, but you can work around that. You can try to get your opponent to block one of your creatures on a chump attack, but it's usually going to look pretty suspicious, so the best way to really get this going is to have a really cheap way to get a creature to die, or just get lucky with the board state being in a position where they're likely to take a trade on blocks. But yeah, it is incredibly explosive when you have the Morbid trigger to get a big 5/3 body and kill their best creature in the same turn. Well, I think it's dinner time. We're going to bake some stuff into a pie here. Got to take that removal really highly when we're on 1 stab right now in our main color. If we're in white, we've got 1 more removal spell. If we're in red, if we have a ton of sack, we've got 1 more. But let's just get that guaranteed removal spell into this deck because we are definitely in black. Okay. I don't think Rite of the Dragon color is going to be good in Rakdos. This is really like a strong blue-red build around where you can have a lot of cheap instants and sorceries. We could have a lot of instants and sorceries, but there's going to be a lot of like 4-mana stuff here. Like Involuntary Employment and Bake into a Pie. So I don't think I'd take that pushing Rakdos. Kind of want to take Helpful Hunter here. Or Angel Finality, but I really like that Helpful Hunter. Despite the tragedy of sacrificing a cat, is good in Orzhov because black has good sacrifice cards for expendable 1/1 bodies like that just have a great enter effect initially, or like Chump Attack with the Tragic Banshee out. I'm going to take Helpful Hunter here. Now we are pretty likely in white, but again, still not really married to anything with how deep we are in black. Wow, okay. Pick 4 Sunblessed Healer. I think we're married to white now. Pick 4 is not that late, but this card is really good. Being able to reanimate a Helpful Hunter, a Hungry Ghoul, a Zool, any other 1 or 2 mana creatures we draft. Now we're going to want to draft more pretty highly, like Healer's Hawk is really good in this color pair, because if we get a Johnny's Pridemate or the big 4-mana panda thing or anything like that, gets pretty wild. So let's grab the Helpful Hunter. And pick 5, we can grab that Pilfer, that is perfectly playable. Also could grab Evolving Wilds. If we stuck to green, we'd be on like a million Llanowar Elves, so that was definitely an option too. But I'm liking the look of this black-white build. It's going to be just black-white value town, rather than being like black-white life gain right now. But we are certainly going all the way to Value Town. 7, get the Fleeting Flight. Billowing Shriek Mass. Big self-mill flyer in the late game. Stuff I'm not playing. I guess I should hold down the Alt key and see what's in my collection, but like here we're actually taking Evolving Wilds. Might end up cutting it if our deck only has like 1 double black or double white card. Because there is a cost to running tap lands. Tap dual lands are almost always worth it. But in 2-color, a card like Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse, if you don't have a bunch of cards that require double black or double white, there is a big difference between being able to pick a swamp or plains that comes into play tapped, or having both a black and white that comes into play tapped. So it is considerably weaker than just a black-white duel would be in here. All right, pack 3, let's go. A complete miss. That's disappointing. Wow, Kiora, Kellen, Burst Lightning. These are the 3 really good cards in the pack. And there's also a Bouncer that's pretty great. But white is just a Squad Rallier. Black is just a Pilfer or a Macabre Waltz. That's pretty disappointing. Got 4 4-drops already. I guess I'll just take a Pilfer. What a miss. You know what? Rare drafting Kellen. I refuse. That's my protest pick. Out of pulling like that. Now we get eaten alive, which is nice. Dreadwing Scavenger's wild. Definitely would have hopped onto blue if we saw one of those pack 1. There's a Burglar Rat, that's fine. Actually, probably Luminous Rebuke though, right? 4 removal spells? This is actually pretty close. Our Squad Rallier... Sorry, not our Squad Rallier, our Sunblessed Healer. Sunblessed Healer really needs a critical mass of 1 and 2 mana creatures. But if you have that, it's really, really good. Right now we only have 3. And I do have 4 removal spells at worst. Plus Tragic Banshees, sort of like a 5th. I think I need this Burglar Rat pretty bad for Sunblessed Healer. And now Helpful Hunter. Not again. Really good 2-mana creature versus the removal spell here. Oh. Do I do it twice in a row, or now that I've got 4, do I go for it? No, 4 is still such a small amount of 2-mana or less creatures for a Sunblessed Healer. I'm going to take Helpful Hunter. We want to be at like 7, ideally. Okay, Bacon to a Pie or Cathar Commando. I think Cathar Commando is enough worse than a Helpful Hunter or Burglar Rat to take Bacon to a Pie this time. I need 2 more that cost 2 or less. Here we go. Blood Witch. Oh, but Felidar Savior? Felidar Savior's gotta be too strong to take over a Blood Witch. Card is wildly good when you've got 2 other creatures on board. Yeah. And there we go. Still get a Burglar Rat here. We're taking it over a Scoured Barrens, which would be better fixing for us, but weirdly enough, we're a black-white deck that doesn't care about life gain, so the whole gaining a life when you play the land thing to trigger your Johnny's Pride Mate, that's not a thing in this deck, so we're actually pretty fine to do that here. Pick 8, here's a zombie. It probably gets cut, though, with so many other 4-mana things to do, so I'm just going to slap it in the side. Well, I guess it doesn't get cut yet. We don't have a full deck. This actually looks like kind of a nutty Squad Rallier deck, though. If we go double Squad Rallier as mana sinks. I'll take that over Macabre Waltz. But if we can just like use a Squad Rallier to draw into a bunch of Helpful Hunters and Burglar Rats. Just speed through our deck in the late game. Maybe dropping like these or something. Probably the Pilfer. Double Rat already. Those are adding to the board. Maybe Fleeting Flight. Yeah, I could see just dropping like Pilfer and Flight, and then if we get anything else good, we'll drop 4 drops, but these are not good in 1v1. I don't know why I had to check how many I owned of everything when it was a land and something else. Alright, Sanguine Siphoner is certainly playable, and that's going to add to our 2 drops for Sunblessed Healer, so we will run that. We need to cut 3 cards out of this deck. And then, oops, and then we'll be ready to go. I think I gotta just like drop some 4s here. I don't think Self-Mill's insane in here, so drop Shriek Mass, and then Crypt Feaster is just so filler, even though it is a zombie for Zool. So I only have 2 zombies in this deck for Zool, but that still has that kind of threat of activation. Whenever it comes together, it's going to be insane. Probably pays off for the times that it's just a 2-mana 2/2, hopefully. Then, now we're at like 17 creatures? Yeah, so 17. Really aggressive count, but still playable. We could drop Inspiring Paladin's probably the most filler creature, or a Fleeting Flight, or a Pilfer. Let's just play to the board here. We've got the double Rat for some hand disruption. Let's drop the Pilfer, go all creatures in this combat trick here. Just curve out, use these as our card advantage plays. The double Squad Rallier to dig through and find more of these is pretty sick. Yeah. Very, very grindy, kind of attrition-based Orzhov deck here that's like going to be playing to the board while disrupting our opponent's hand a little bit, or drawing a little bit of cards. Looks pretty nice. I'm excited to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are for game 1. We have the Hungry Ghoul and the Zool. So I'll probably play the Zool much later once the Ghoul's actually dead, but I'm pretty happy to start with that. Certainly need to draw lands here. We got a couple 4-drops. Our opponent has started with Infestation Sage. We have started with a non-land draw. It will be strong later, but it's basically another 4-mana draw, which is pretty bad. But we did hit the land right on time, so we can Burglar Rat our opponent and have a mana up for Hungry Ghoul. That way, if they try to just stab the Ghoul, I guess if they had stabbed, they would just do it before the Rat resolves, but if they try to just stab the Ghoul and that's it, then I could just sack the Rat. They'll have to have like a Fake Your Own Death or some other kind of combat trick to kill it. Cool, so we just deal 2. There's Resolute Reinforcements. Alright, so they could have killed Ghoul if they triple blocked it, but by playing Burglar Rat, we forced a triple block to be their best way to kill it, which feels fine. Infernal Vessel. They've got a really good board for sack cards. Just a really good board in general. But speaking of really good boards, we hit that Felidar Savior mana right on time, and I'm incredibly happy with that. Stat line is insane when you have two other creatures on board. Now we have really good blocks, a 2/3 lifelinker and a 2/2. There's the Squad Rallier. It really is the mirror match. Do we want to just drop our Squad Rallier because it's funny? I mean, it looks like at this rate we're just going to be staring at each other for a long time now. Really big board on each side. Yep. So let's both start dumping mana into this thing. Here's a matchup where a one-of copy of that Folly thing that gives everything -1/-1 might be pretty good. They found a Healer's Hawk. Oh no! They were the first one to find a flyer. My deck is pretty low on flyers. That could be an issue here. Ooh. We hit some value though. Yeah, I actually don't have any flyers. I just have a bunch of removal. So this one Healer's Hawk can do a lot of work for our opponent. Oh, they're just going to hold it back. Fair enough. Banishing Light the Squad Rallier, I guess? Sure. Well, let's get that in the grave. Not that it matters, but we'll get a counter on Hungry Ghoul. Can chip away at some of their board and then Sunblast Healer or Zool to get this Hungry Ghoul back. Feels fine. Okay. Or we can just kill a 1/1. I could Burglar Rat them here for their last card in hand. But then my rat is smaller, so I think it's probably better to Helpful Hunter here. Because there's a chance they're just sandbagging a land against Burglar Rats. In which case it's just so much worse for me than drawing a card. Okay. I don't have the mana for the Gutless Plunder right now, so we'll just get Zool ready. If we draw our other zombie, we do kind of just win. Because it's the enter battlefield, exile 2 cards, drain 2. I guess there's not enough creatures in grave to win off of that combo, but we could drain them for 2 turns in a row. Would be one of our best draws. Oof, Vampire Nighthawk off the Squad Rallier. That's a pretty premium one. We're going to need to draw some removal for that, but we have 5 in the deck and we've drawn 0 removal spells. So there are a lot of live draws to kill a Vampire Nighthawk. That is not one of them, but that is good with Zool. Okay. That 4 toughness, man. It's just holding everybody else off. At least we'll get a Death Toucher here. Guess the Death Toucher just trades into Infernal Vessel still. That's still pretty bad. Alright, show me one of the many removals. There we go. Leave that. Alright, Zool plus Soul Shackled Zombie is going to go pretty hard here. We get to attack with it, it trades off, and then we recast it. If it doesn't trade off, we'll just sack it to the Hungry Ghoul and then recast it. Although I guess with Bake into a Pie, we won't have the mana to bake something into a pie and zombies, so we have to just bake the Nighthawk right now. Aw, we don't get the food. Rude. It's their own Hungry Ghoul, so I don't get to eat the Vampire Nighthawk. But I do still get to get it off the board before I attack with my ghoul. Which is quite important. It's a shame this thing is not a zombie pirate instead of a skeleton pirate. Alright, cool. Got the vessel trigger out of the way so Plunderer can start swinging now. And we got that trigger out of the way with our recastable creature. This is some classic core set magic right here. Gigantic board stall. You can scroll forward 10 minutes to see who wins. It's going to be a lot about these draws here. Is this +2 to everybody? I think they would have just attacked with their whole board if it was that. It's like a fake your own death here. I have no cards in my hand for the Burglar Rat, so I think they'd rather fake your own death the reinforcements. So I think I block the Burglar Rat with the card that's better to kill. Well, we'll see what it is here. It could also just be Hungry Ghouling, I guess. So it's like, alright, sure. Oh, they have a Zombify or something? Oh, Macabre Waltz. Probably. No, Tragic Banshee. Alright, that's fine too. It's gotta hit Zool here, right? Yeah. From here to this turn, okay. Oh shoot, I completely forgot about Hungry Ghoul. Oop. Whoops. This should be a 6/6 Hungry Ghoul, but I am a buffoon. It happens. Got a stab up against no open mana now, so I think I can send the healer in. I'm liking it. They do not like my Hungry Ghoul, do they? So I need 6 power to kill 2 of their creatures. So we could just sack Helpful Hunter to kill Tragic Banshee and Infernal Vessel. There's basically no way I save Ghoul against that much power. New combat damage is so weird. World's saddest burglar rat has arrived. Guess who has first strike? My Felidar Savior. Or sorry, my Burglar Rat. All mixed up over here. Hopefully we're like 5 minutes from finding out who wins now. But these are like the real boring kind of games of Magic for me. Where it's like, alright, let's see who hits the goods. Well, we both chip away for 2 a turn. Squad Rallier is kind of the goods. Kinda. Plunderer for a flyer and a rat is not terrible here because I have no flyers in my deck, so I think we still send that. Yeah, this is super okay with me. The Healer's Hawks are going to give them tons of breathing room here. It's starting to look more like it's going to take 10 minutes again. We'll see. I mean, on board, we are just like 1 removal spell from really, really pressuring them. Where life totals are going to start changing significantly quicker if we can kill that Hungry Ghoul. There you have it. Go for it. It's actually lethal on board, so they have to spend their own removal. Wow, alright. 2 misses in a row, and what I thought was still going to take quite a few more turns actually does finally end there. We narrowly win the grindy, super long top deck war. Start things off, what, 1-0? That was just a single game of Magic? Yep, 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. We're on the draw here. I really need that draw to be a land, but if it is, Prideful Parent with the Eaten Alive to sack the token is a pretty good start, and obviously Squad Rallier is quite strong in our deck, so that'll be good. Alright, we haven't hit any lands, but we did hit a play. We can get this Burglar Rat down, and that is also a target for Healer when we make it to 4 mana. Boros deck with no plays. Okay, Healer. Unkicked Healer against a Burglar Rat. That's got to feel really bad for our opponent. They don't reanimate anything, and they just trade into our 1/1 that already got a card's worth of value. At least our land draws feel really bad for us, so now we're both real sad. I will absolutely trade both of these into the Healer. That is still a trade in our favor, because both of those already gave us 1 piece of card advantage. So we are very much up a card in that exchange, even with a double block. Seems like it should probably be a pretty decent matchup. A War of Attrition against Boros. Like, as long as I survive the initial onslaught. Yeah, they're gonna have 1 card in hand now. I'm pretty sure we hit Burglar Rat here. Doubt they got that flooded. They've already hit 6 lands that we know of. This would be a 7th. Oh yeah, we Burglar Rat a Banishing Light? Let's go. Double Heroic Reinforcements. Pretty spicy. I think we can still grind this one out though. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gaining 3, I'm at 15, I'll be at 5 life. I probably should play it a little safe here, play around a Burst Lightning a bit. No creatures left, but they just have a 2/2 and 2 1/1s, and I'm at 8. Next turn I could go Vessel Eaten Alive. Let's play 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What if I let them hit me for 10, I'm dead to Burst Lightning right now. Like if I leave Sunblessed Healer to block savior with everybody else. I don't think that's the play. This is probably our best bet. Play around a Burst Lightning. Because kicked Burst Lightning for 4 is pretty scary. Squad Rallier or Vessel Eaten Alive. I've got to bake into a pie backup. Let's just play it as safe as possible. If I don't just get blown out by a random Burst Lightning here, I think we win. So let's just stop that. Now they have just like no action right now. Unless they Burst Lightning the Vessel, then they're only hitting for 2. Okay, Angel of Finality is certainly quite good here. And that was the top deck, because we know they have a 1-mana instant with how Arena's going, unless they're just playing full control mode the entire time. Oh, maybe they were. It's a 1-mana sorcery, or they were just full controlling during their turn. Om nom nom. And then Squad Rallier runs away with it. The mana sink to get way ahead. No zombies in grave, but still definitely a card. That's really good. No waltz in this deck, I think. Yeah, there's no waltz in here, so we can just play every land. Dazzling Angel's a problem, but we've got the Banshee now, and there's the Hungry Ghoul to make sure it triggers. Yeah, I've got exactly enough mana to Hungry Ghoul if they don't go for any blocks here. I guess I'd rather play a Hungry Ghoul and sack the Helpful Hunter than Chump Attack with the Helpful Hunter. Feeling pretty safe here. At 11 life, 3 blockers up. They're only at 10. We've got pretty massive counterattacks. Ooh, Goblin Negotiation. Not awful. Gives them a lot of blocks now. Maybe I'm supposed to just send with everybody here. Because Zula's only reanimating our Hungry Ghoul. She's probably just not dying at this rate, regardless. Oh wow, I probably should have done that pre-combat. Forgot about that bad boy. That is filthy. There's the concession from our opponent. Really sweet stuff from the deck there, just stabilizing from a pretty aggressive Boros start and grinding out the long game. So we are 2-0 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game 3. We got Sanguine Siphoner into Infernal Vessel, into Soul Shackled Zombie, into Tragic Banshee. We got 2, 3, 4, 5. Our opponent's on Grixis with a very good mana right now. Here comes the counter spell on Infernal Vessel, and we get to be a little sad. But that makes sure that there is a creature in a graveyard for when we play Soul Shackled Zombie, at least. Yep, you got it. Light Shell Duo. Right? I just still play the Soul Shackled Zombie here. Oh, the cards have to be from the same grave? Dang. Hello, one of the best rares in the format. Goodbye, one of the best rares in the format. Oh, I will take that trade every day of the week. Vampire Soulcaller. Welcome back, one of the best rares in the format. God dang. Five mana and it doesn't have haste. I rebuke it during my turn then. Any other non-token creature dies. Man, this sucks if they have stab in their hand. If they had stab in their hand, they would get us even if we held up rebuke here. Actually, no, I guess if they had exactly stab in hand, I wouldn't be able to kill Siphoner. It's gotta be better to rebuke than to Banshee here, because we're just giving them a card if we go for Banshee. This way they only get a card if they have a stab. Okay, they don't have a stab. We're so chill. Let's start playing around a Burglar Rat. I don't know if I should, but I do see Triple Swamp over there. Vampire Gormon. Stop playing things I need to kill. There's no way they're blocking here. And now it doesn't matter. Oh, they do block. Sweet. Banshee. I still shouldn't have played that land. I kind of instinctually went for it because I was like, now even if they Essence Scatter Banshee, I can just eat an alive sack Burglar Rat. But I didn't need to play that until they Essence Scattered the Banshee. Obviously, if they don't counter it, then we're good. We don't need that mana up. We'll play Hungry Ghoul pre-combat just in case one of these dies. This looks like a victory at this rate. They have no blocks. We got well over lethal, and that is a victory for us. What are we, 3-1 or something? My mind has been elsewhere for a moment. It is all over the place when I'm playing core set. We are actually undefeated. We are 3-0. I thought we got a loss in there somewhere. Feels good. 3-0 heading into game 4. All right, here we are on the draw for game 4. We have the Helpful Hunter into Prideful Parent with a reanimation on the Hunter. This deck is just full of great curve outs if we hit the mana. Playing against blue-white for now. Could be the ideal blue-white Flyers deck. That deck would kind of crush us. We might get our first loss here if they are the full blue-white Flyers. Okay, we have hit land 3, so I'm actually just going to play the Siphoner here for more damage on curve. Think twice, draw a card. No plays this turn. How badly do I want land 4 next turn? Honestly, not that badly. I think I can just Prideful Parent still. Fey Bloom Trick. This is looking pretty blue-white Flyers-y. If I don't hit land for turn next turn, I can play Helpful Hunter trying to draw it, and then if I do, I go Hunter into Rat in the same turn. Oh god. Yeah, this might be over real quick. Our deck is very weak to flyers. And they got the Feybloom trick into the Felidar Saber to make them both 2/2 flyers, which is insane. We also already can't attack into the lifelinking 2/3 body. It's a really good roadblock that also gains them life. Yeah, it might be 3-1 here. Oh, those 1/1 flyers are 3/3 flyers now. 3 mana make 2 3/3 flyers tap something is a pretty insane deal. Yeah, I'm just moving on. We're not getting out of this at 10 life right now. Alright, 3-1 heading into game 5. Alright, here we are for game 5. That is going to be a forced mulligan here, down to 6. But we can keep this. It's not very good. It starts at 3 mana. Hoping to get a lot of mileage out of this rebuke. The Squad Rallier can make up for the mulligan, but double removal feels safer. I'm going to still ditch the Eaten Alive, though. We'll try for the Squad Rallier here. Okay. Playing against the blue deck again. That is already concerning. Because obviously blue has a lot of flyers generally, but this time it is blue-black starting with Hungry Ghoul. I'll take a few hits here. I've got a 3/3 and a 3/4 coming up, so they're going to need some creatures to sack to that for it to get in consistently. I'll save the Rebuke for potential flyer since I ditched the other removal that we have. Okay. Now I've got 2 removal spells. If they want a Feybloom trick here and trade a 1/1 into our Hunter, that's actually a really good deal. Okay, let's see what this instant is. Think twice, just draw a card. There's the Mocking Sprite for the flyer. That does not block very well, so that's nice. And his land 4 for the Squad Rallier. I don't know if a 2/1 flyer is threatening enough to need to throw removal this early. Especially when I have Tragic Banshee coming up, where even if I don't get a Morbid trigger, if I can resolve Banshee, I can just -1/-1 this Sprite, and that'll be a really good use of our mana next turn. So I think I'm going to try to hopefully hit the land for that. Unalive the Squad Rallier, fair enough. Still winning this race a little bit, and definitely are with Tragic Banshee. So they can Hungry Ghoul away the Sprite, but that's kind of whatever. And I have 2 removal spells and a Burglar Rat left. Big Fin Bouncer the Paladin. Send in the Ghoul. So if I kill the Bouncer, I get in with Banshee, which is pretty big. It's a lot of mana to kill the Bouncer, though. Okay, Sunblast Dealer doesn't do anything yet. Feels like one of our last opportunities to get this Burglar Rat to actually discard something with them at 2 cards in hand. Island, great. Well, Burglar Rat's also a better creature to reanimate with Sunblast Healer later, so we'll chump and reanimate if they still have a card in hand. Alright, get this Bouncer off the board, drop the Paladin. Pass. Probably chump with Burglar Rat. You know what, I could just take this damage, and then just spend a removal spell on Ghoul next turn. Jesus Christ. So I'm at 1 now? Yeah, what are you gonna do? I'm at 1. Okay, last card of theirs is probably a land, but even a land is valuable for our opponent now that they have Strix Lookout on board. Oh, it's Witness Protection. That is actually legit then. Alright, let's not die to 1 Vigilant Flying damage here. This is a super close game. I can attempt onboard lethal by rebuking one of these and sending in the team, but I'm going to play it safer here and just have rebuke for their counterattack. Because rebuke and then attack is exact seize. So just even a fleeting distraction would be not getting lethal here. And then I don't have a rebuke, and if they draw removal, Hungry Ghoul could kill us on the crackback. So I want to just really make sure I'm just holding rebuke up here. Do I cast it now? Yeah, I don't think they're going to have any haste creatures. I think I cast it in response to all that then. There's the Mischievous Mystic. If they draw any cards here, that'll be multiple blockers. But if they don't, that is 1 blocker against all this. That is game. That is 4-1. Heading into game 6. I kind of think I have to mulligan this hand. This is basically 3 4-drops and a 5. I mean, I guess we can keep it and just play the saddest Sunblessed Healer. That's probably what we're supposed to do. Probably not worth going down a card just to not have to play an unkicked healer. Like, we can just play an unkicked healer, and then we do have a little bit of a curve. Did hit the Siphoner. If they kill that, then we actually do have a kicked healer. Okay, oh my god, we hit the Burglar Rat too. Just kind of lucked into the goodies for this hand. Can definitely Sunblessed Healer the Burglar Rat back next turn. That is almost 100% likely to be the play. But we'll see what they do. Alright. This looks like it's going to be a good matchup. Another Boros War of Attrition, where we should have way more, like, enter the battlefield, draw a card, enter the battlefield, discard a card, than they have available. We're going to joust a Siphoner, fair enough. Still more excited to heal back the Burglar Rat than the Siphoner. They're down super low on cards after this. 2 cards in hand here. What are these mountains? What is this? Is this IRL? I think that's the actual world. Strange. Just wait for the Spider-Man set. We get basics all in the streets of New York. Let's go. What do you have? Show me the goodies. Resolute Reinforcements would be pretty sick. Okay, that's basically Resolute Reinforcements. Yeah, that's pretty sick. But we get the Tragic Banshee, the Paladin now. We're the only one with a creature on board. They only have 2 cards in hand. We have a Squad Rallier and a Soul Shackled Zombie in hand. So, yeah, we're quite a bit ahead here. There are 2 cards versus our 2 cards, but also we have a 5/3. And one of our 2 cards is a Mana Sink that's going to draw us a bunch of cards. Another Inspiring Paladin. It's like a little bit annoying. I think I'm fine to just trade into it. No blocks is really nice for me. That's Soul Shackled Zombie here to attack into the Paladin with. Because if I wait till next turn for Squad Rallier, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Either way it works. But this way they have less time to kill a Squad Rallier. Being able to play it and activate it immediately, so that even if they have a removal spell for it, we draw a card off of it, is a guaranteed way to turn it into at least a 2-for-1. Really need my pets to keep me company during core set drafts. Alright. Exile the 5/3. Swing in. Bold moves from our opponent. There's Prideful Parent. Alright, well, we're not activating them. Sorry, Squad Rallier, you might die before you get us anything, but we'll see. Probably not. Ooh, a Johnny's Pridemate. No life gain on board, though. What an instant classic a Johnny's Pridemate was. What a great card. I would argue probably one of the most well-known cards in Magic now. Just because everybody loves lifelink, or life gain decks in general. But in the grand scheme of the game, it's not that old. It's like it's 14 years old or something. It's not even half as old as Magic. I guess they could double block Rallier, that'd be kind of bad for me. Yeah, I'd trade a Soul Shackled Zombie into either of these creatures. Alright, cool. Get the Pridemate out of here. My stomach's starting to grumble. Quick, finish the draft so I can go eat some chili. I'm cold and hungry. Alright, Resolute Reinforcements has arrived. Quick Draw Katana. Alright. That makes their attacks a little bit better, but at 9 life, they really need to consider their blocks. It gives +2/+0. Oh, that's all just during their turn, so it doesn't even give +2/+1 blocks. Okay, that's good. That is good for me. Oh, I completely forgot to click on Squad Rallier during their turn. Big miss. The hunger's adding up. Just do it all immediately so I don't forget. Oh, wow, that thing can hit Felidar Saviors. It's really gross. Yeah, they're over it. Squad Rallier's gonna just solo them from this point on. We are like 5-1 now? We in the money here? Or are we just 4-1 where we're breaking even at least? Let's find out. We are 5-1 in the money out of this draft, no matter what happens from here. Feels pretty great, but I'll take any more wins I can get some more gems back into the account, and get a little bit higher in the mythic ranks. I'm perfectly happy to just be top 1500 mythic by the end of the month. If you don't know the mythic rewards, if you're top 1500 mythic or 1200 mythic or something like that, you get 20 play-in points. So you can play the next qualifier play-in event for free. If you get top 250, you get to play the next qualifier weekend. The qualifier weekend is the event that you get into by winning a qualifier play-in. So if you get top 250, you get to skip the qualifier play-in, and you're immediately in the qualifier weekend. Next month is a sealed qualifier weekend. It's Magic Foundations sealed, I think. So I will be doing the qualifier play-in events. So I wouldn't hate being top 250, so I can just immediately go into the qualifier weekend. But also, I'm going to have like 60 play-in points. So I have enough play-in points to do the qualifier play-in like 3 times. So really, either way, I'm happy. As long as I'm top 1200, we should be good to get into the weekend, hopefully. We're at least going to be good to get a bunch of value. Bunch of gems out of those points. Alright, let's just be really, really annoying. Oh, once again, I'm not sure. Somebody has probably pointed this out by now. I am not sure if stabbing this in response to its ability stops them from drawing the card. Because it doesn't actually target anything and then draw the card, it's just part of the whole thing. Put 2+1/+1 counters on it and you draw a card. So I don't know if you still draw the card if you can't put the counters on it because it's dead. Alright, it's probably best to just stab the Librarian during their end step here anyway, to be mana efficient, rather than trying to respond to their 4-mana ability. That way next turn I can play Hunter and Hungry Ghoul, or Hunter and Rebuke a tapped Valkyrie. Johnny's Pridemate. Okay, I'll stab Pridemate maybe? No, I can rebuke Pridemate if it becomes a problem. Let's still stab Librarian. If we were not annoying enough, now we have Sunblessed Healer for a 3rd Burglar Rat trigger. If we can get there. Can Eaten Alive here, sacking a Burglar Rat. Since I can't get in anyway. I still have got a removal spell left. I kind of don't mind that. Although now I don't have any Burglar Rats in grave because I wanted to sack the summoning sick creature. But it's actually, at this point, probably more likely for Helpful Hunter to be good because our opponent is so low on cards in hand, the odds of them having something left for a Burglar Rat is getting unlikely. Okay, that is not the second white source, so even if I wanted to, I can't Sunblessed Healer anything back. So now I can Hungry Ghoul away a Burglar Rat to do that instead, since they do have cards still in hand. Oh, we need to kill the heck out of this thing. This card is unbeatable. Gains so much life and gets so big. So I need to hit a land to rebuke that. I don't want to sack a rat, I'm just giving them more ooze fuel. Oh, if they just Summoning Sickness do that, maybe I do sack a rat. Or Summoning Sickness. Just if they just main phase do that. The problem is then if I sack rat and don't hit land 5, then the ooze is still gonna clear out my creature before I kill theirs. Yeah, no, let's just wait. Yeah, because now here I just don't hit the thing. I don't hit the basic I need to kill ooze, so we'll play Plunderer. Hope to fill our grave with not creatures. This only gets bigger off creatures. No, we put a creature in grave. No. I really don't want to put 2 creatures in my grave. This is about as awkward as the Plunderer hit could be. Because this is what I'm going to draw on next turn. So if I pick Banshee, I'm drawing a 5 mana card with 4 lands on board. I kind of have to pick Bake. I have no castable cards at hand. I have to just pick Bake into a Pine, then bake the ooze, which means they're going to get a really big ooze for a second, but then I'm going to bake it immediately. So I can't really rely on the ooze being tapped. It can just sit there and block while the Valkyrie kills me. I mean, 1 damage a turn is not going to kill me very fast, but... them just having like a 7/7 ooze on blocks is already more than enough of a nightmare. Don't really want to wait any longer to kill it. 1 white mana up. That could just be because they don't have more green mana. It's just the only way to use ooze. Alright, we are right back to very much winning the race. Now that Scooz is gone. Vanguard Seraph. Oof, makes the Valkyrie bigger. Plunderer and Ghoul are still good attackers. I guess they could double block Ghoul. It wouldn't be an incredible spot for me, but it still wouldn't be bad. If they double block Ghoul, I'll just sack 1 rat and kill a Seraph. Cool, this works for me. Go Siphoner this turn. That's the Rebuke mana. I put them to 1 life if I Rebuke and swing. I'm just gonna play it safer. I'm just gonna swing. If they use a trick to try to win this fight, then I can Rebuke in response to the trick. And this way, if they draw some kind of Mega Bomb that somehow wins, I can Rebuke there. That is tragic. Can't do anything about that. Sure. Pride Mate, no life gain on their board right now. Pride Mate is big enough that they could double block now, so let's clear the Pride Mate. I think that's more likely to get bigger than Valkyrie is. It's easier to get life gain triggers than it is to play Angels. Okay, Sunblessed here literally just dies to Valkyrie, so I'm still holding this. Hoping for a kick eventually. Probably bring back the Hungry Ghoul at this point. That's a good draw. I mean, we need the white mana for it, but it's a really good ability. Guarded Air. Speaking of good draws, that might have been in their hand the entire game, but it's still very, 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 very good here. Full stable board state off of one spell. Okay, top deck planes would still be pretty good. Might have to still grind it out here, where I do pick a Burglar Rat, because their last card in hand is also a non-land. They missed a lot of land drops after the initial Burglar Rats. That is not a plains. Those 3/3 tokens on their board. Let's get the 3/4 down. Let's see how punished we get for not hitting the second white. 21 cards deep. What would we have Burglar Ratted? Maybe like a removal spell, I guess? Draw one blind, or draw a creature with power 2 or less. I think I need the blind draw because I really want a plains, and the Ralliers can't hit a plains. But the Helpful Hunter could. There we go. Solemn Simulacrum. Send in the flyer. Okay, at this point, it's been long enough they could easily have just drawn a land and held it. It's been 2 turns of blind draws for our opponents. So probably one was Simulacrum, one was a land. Their other card in hand's like removal they're holding on to. Yeah, I feel like it's too likely for me to just Burglar Rat into just hitting a completely inconsequential hand now. Or inconsequential land now. So I'm gonna get the Ghoul. They could double block both of these and I just killed 2 3/3s, so we're still not on attacks. We're getting really close though. There's the Healer's Hawk. Guarded Air was 100% their MVP. If we could have healered on time, we probably would have forced that as the discard at some point. I only need one Squad Rallier to be able to spam its ability, and I think there's only like 2 creatures left in my deck that fit the bill. We have 1 Felidar Savior left. There's only 1 creature left in my whole deck I can draw into off of the Ralliers. I probably should have just attacked both then. It's the only thing I can find is a Felidar Savior. But I guess we can wait till we hit that off of them first. We are playing 1 combat trick in this deck. We have not drawn it in any game, but it's the +1/+1 counter, flying and untap it, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to it. It'd be really good right now. We're eating the cats. We're absolute monsters. The poor kittens getting devoured by our zombie. Okay, they are at 1 life. Could just attack with a Sanguine Siphoner next turn. That would be pretty funny. The solo attack. Oh man, am I gonna lose to OG Overrun? Bro. Alright, just lose to OG Overrun. Pretty sure it's lethal. I mean, it's not lethal, but I have to lose my board and they gain... If they gain 9 life, they go up to 15 here. Come on, man. Well, 10, 20. Wait a second. 10, 20. I go to 1, crack back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I hit them for 14. They're gaining 9. They're going to be at 15. If I draw 1 creature, I win. So draw a creature and win. Draw a creature and win, maybe. The Squad Rallier did make the odds pretty good, because I get to Squad Rallier there, then I get to untap and Squad Rallier again. So fell at our Saviors in like the top 8 I get there. Wow. 1 damage away from them making that not an out. 1 damage from getting overrun out of it. That was insane. I thought for sure I was dead, but we beat the overrun in the end. We are 6? We're 6-1? Super far in the money. Heading into the final boss with 2 rounds in the chamber. Hopefully I can keep myself awake and keep myself unstarved long enough to keep my head in the game for this final battle. Alright, time for that final battle. We have the Helpful Hunter with the Healer to save it. Do need to hit another white source to play the Healer kicked, though. Wildwood Scourge, 2 mana, 1/1. Well, get ready to see some +1/+1 counter nonsense over there. Yep, there's the Good Fortune Unicorn. So whenever they play a creature, they put a counter on the creature they played and the Wildwood Scourge. That's going to get really scary really fast. Okay, Snare Spinner has a 2/5 reach death touch. Plus the Scourge trigger. Yeah, that's crazy. Could Healer a Hunter here? Or just Squad Rallier? I guess I don't really need a Hunter chump block right now anyway. And this could get them to be like, oh, they're just like going for random reanimation or whatever. And then let me chump attack next turn to get a Tragic Banshee going. Because it like didn't go that poorly for them this turn, so might as well just get the block again next turn. There's the Squad Rallier. Man, I gotta kill a lot of this stuff to stop this nonsense. I feel like the Unicorn's probably the most important, but the Snare Spinner's a pretty massive deal too. Dang, they play around the Banshee here. We drop the Squad Rallier then. We're getting wombo comboed here. This is the best I've ever seen the green-white +1/+1 counters deck do. It's also because our interaction is pretty inefficient here. Okay. Now it's pretty good. It's a double squad rallier to just draw a million cards even after we deal with their stuff. Yeah, this is rough. Snare Spinner plus Scourge, those are both so big that like I'm not going to get attacks. The Ralliers as well are gigantic at this point. I think I gotta just shut down their +1/+1 counter production though. Oh no! Elvish Regrower? Well, I'm happy I exiled the Unicorn then. At least they get the Spider and not the Unicorn here. Okay, I don't have any zombies right now, but if I can draw any, that can grind the game out. Though I suppose Squad Rallier can grind the game out as well. We have 7 mana here. So I can play Zool and still rebuke this Spider. It's probably the play. Tragic Banshee attack wouldn't be the worst, but sadly it is not a zombie. So I'd just be trading into Regrower. Hey, there's a zombie. Not like a super great one to keep replaying, though. I'm looking for the 4-2. Ooh. That's annoying. I like being annoying. Got rid of Affectionate Indrik. Yeah, that's a good hit. We take the 1-for-1, I think. Healer's Hawk from our opponent. Seen a lot of Healer's Hawks today. That is real good. First striking Hungry Ghoul goes pretty hard. Five power first strike's still not quite enough to matter though. They can still just multi-block it easily. Just triple block. If we hit our Bacon to a Pie, we actually have 2 Bacon to a Pie. If we hit one of the 2 Bacon to a Pie or the Fleeting Flight, then we have insanely good Hungry Ghoul attacks that can break through this board really quickly. Just need a little bit to take it over the edge here. I suppose I didn't need to Felidar Saber up the Ghoul, actually, because it already could give itself the first strike. Yeah, Guarded Air is real good in this spot, as we saw last game. Siphoner, not so much. No cards in their hand here. Do I have any creatures left to hit? Still got 1 Helpful Hunter, 1 Prideful Parent, 1 Gutless Plunder, 1 Infernal Vessel. Oh my god, yeah, I have a lot. Okay. Sure. Oh, that is true. That hits Wildwood Scourge. That is real bad for me. They have to play it right now, though, because we have the Burglar Rat, so it doesn't get to be as big as it could be, but a 6/6 is still a 6/6. There's the Soul Shackled Zombie to go with Zool. Incredible here. Genuinely incredible here. Worst case scenario, it's a counter on Ghoul every turn. Best case scenario, we get to keep draining. Going to Combo Town. Cool, we finally get to do the Zool plus Soul Shackled Zombie thing. I don't think we got to do that in any other game. Okay, Make Your Move isn't that bad for us. There's almost no creatures left for Rallier to hit at this point. There's still 2 of them, I think. Well, there were 3 of them. But they're all in this final clump anyway. We're going to just top deck them naturally. Our opponent might be low enough on cards to be down, like, out of creatures for their Ralliers. Potentially. Okay. I feel like just the threat of Burglar Rat is still better than just having another 1/1 on the board. Because forcing them to not hold on to their instance is definitely something. Or like we saw earlier, they dumped a bunch of mana into Squad Rallier, and then had to still play the Wildwood Scourge immediately, or we would have Burglar Ratted it, so they didn't get to play quite as big of a Wildwood Scourge. Felidar Savior's busted with double Scourge. Did they both get 2 counters or just 1 apiece? 2 counters apiece. Jeez. Yeah, that was a really, really good hit for off the Ralliers. But it was pretty inevitable. Again, with double Rallier and with how many times they've activated them, they've probably gone through the whole deck by now. They've seen everything at least once. How does our deck win in this position? It hits double bacon to apply with a Hungry Ghoul attack or something? I don't think 1 is enough. 10 mana. I can theoretically have an 11/11 Hungry Ghoul and bake something into a pie. Whatever. Yeah, if it dies, I can just... If it looks like it's going to be a really unfavorable combat, I can just recast Ghoul from Grave. But if there's some kind of tricksy thing I can do with bake into a pie and some sacks, we'll do that. Let it in there at 18 with no life gain on the board. There's no way I can lethal. I could do 10 more damage and put them to deal 15. They go to 3. Yeah, I can't lethal them, so I think... I just let this happen, and we sack things on chumps, potentially. If I sack too much right now, like, they have gigantic creatures cracking back at me. So I don't think I want to. Oh, I should have sacked Soul Shackled Zombie at least. That was a miss. Yeah, I should have hit them for one more here. Okay, it looks like they're out of Squad Rallier cards. Apparently the top 8 were the correct 8 to put on the bottom. So that was the 9th from the top, and using 2 Squad Ralliers in a row means that Sylvan Scavenging is active now, and it will be insanely hard to win. They get 3 +1/+1 counters or a 3/3 every turn. Could theoretically bake the Hawk, but I think I still need to be on Ghoul nonsense. Yeah, 3 +1/+1 counters is the choice. Pretty good. Oh, man. The second it becomes a 3/3. Alright. What are you going to do about that? Sure. They have literally looked through their whole deck now. Yeah, I was going to say, if they don't pick one up there, then there is none left. Because they kind of just in short succession look through the whole deck again. So now they just chump with a raccoon every turn. Until I mill out, because I mill out first. No. I can still drain them for 2 a turn off of Soul Shackled Zombie combo. Every turn that there's a creature left in my grave. What else can I draw into here? Squad Rallier, Bacon to apply. Plunderer, Helpful Hunter, Fleeting Fights. No Graveyard Recursion. Okay. There's no Graveyard Recursion anyway. Then I'm just going to keep making them chump a creature each turn. And we'll keep losing a creature from grave each turn. Two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can get 1 damage through by attacking with everybody and then sacking everybody that's blocked by a lifelinker. So we're still not at that point. Not a tiny bit faster, but so get towards potential lethal a tiny bit faster. Yeah, especially with a bacon to a pie. Now this is the self-imposed grindiest draft ever. But the deck is working as intended. So that's my fault. That's a horrible mana to auto tap. Yeah, let's auto tap a black source with all black spells in hand. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 damage. I'm getting really, really close. I still think I want to hold Burglar. Ooh, first strike. Yeah, that's sketchy. But if they do almost any attacks now, I have a lethal counterattack, so that's fine. Yeah, no attacks from opponent. Get a raccoon. I'm gonna cash this in now to lower their number of blockers and speed up the kill. I think we can kill them next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 creatures get in. I drain for 1. That is a minimum of 3 damage. They go to 4. They go to 4. I deal 2. They go to 2. I deal 1 more. They go to 1. I deal 1 more. They go to 0. Yeah, next turn, if I play Burglar Rat here and bake one of their creatures, an all-out attack will be lethal. It'll be Exactsies next turn, I think. Wait, no, that's not counting the next raccoon they make. I mean, I guess in theory, I just recast Soul Shackled Zombie 3 more turns and that'll do it too. I'll play towards that. I'm gonna hold up mana to do some sacks on Ghoul and cast Bacon to a Pie so I can block Lifelinkers and sack. I'll calculate for lethal again next turn. I don't think it is this turn from my earlier math. But we can probably just make this game go faster by not trying to recalculate lethal and just keep replaying this thing until they die. But obviously that's just strictly worse if there is a turn where we could be attacking for lethal. And I miss it. Okay, I am pretty sure we can attack for lethal next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. I can attack for lethal next turn if they don't hit something here. Thank you so much for playing that forest opponent. Genuinely really appreciate that. Because otherwise we were going to have to sit here another minute and deliberate between whether or not I should be playing around an instant because I played the burglar rat. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures get in. Yeah, they're dead. What a game. Jesus. The fact that we got to go like 10 turns, at least, with Zool and Soul Shackled Zombie uncontested was wild. Really earned her slot in the deck this game. Our opponent's doing what they can, but all we gotta do is sack our Zool, and they're dead. Due to the lack of life gain. And there's the lethal. We made it to 7-1 in a super long, incredibly grindy draft. Just an absolute war of attrition with this deck. But yeah, that's how you make a strong, just attrition, card advantage based burglar rat, helpful hunter based, grindy black-white build here. It's a pretty scrappy deck for the most part. It was quite focused on just strong commons and uncommons, but obviously that one game in particular, Zool did a really good, just a lot of work, a really good approximation of like a bomb rare. Most games, as I said before, Zool's just going to be a 2-mana 2/2 and it's whatever, but for the potential games like that one, Zool can really pay off for that. But I still think Zool is like weak enough and build aroundy enough, especially with just 2 zombies in the deck, that it's kind of like we just scrapped here and just beat down with almost purely common and uncommon deck. It's not a super bomby deck here. It's just a really grindy, value-based pile of good commons and uncommons. Tons of removal, tons of card advantage plays. The Sunblast Healer, probably the best card here, being able to resurrect these was pivotal in a lot of those games. Biggest underperformer is Fleeting Flight because we literally never got to cast it. We did not have that card in our hand in a single game. If we want to talk about an actual underperformer, something that worked in the deck less well than I thought it would, I don't know. I think everything else really showed up and did its thing in its own positions. Even like Sanguine Siphoner, which is kind of just whatever. got some damage and got some drains in. I don't think anybody did super poorly here. I don't think there really is an underperformer outside of the never drawing Fleeting Flight. Was there a huge overperformer though? You know, could be Zool, but I think I'm gonna give that to Soul Shackled Zombie because it's kind of like giving Zool the overperformer reward, where that combo in that final game helped us so much. Without that, we wouldn't have had nearly close to lethal there. So getting the 3 card combo in particular was wild. Sack the zombie, reanimate the zombie, drain the life. And the reason I'm giving the Soul Shackled Zombie the overperformer reward is because it is a card that did things, like did plenty of work in games where we didn't have Zool as well. Like every time we drew that, I was pretty happy with it. There were earlier games that we were just like, yeah, drain you for 2 life, and now I have a 4-power creature to just attack into your 3-4 squad ralliers. So even the games that we weren't doing wild synergies or anything with it, just slamming it out as just on-rate stats, those were pretty good stats for us. So I'll give the Soul Shackled Zombie the overperformer because it's a card that is often overlooked, especially by me. I don't draft that thing super often. I'm just like, yeah, it looks fine. And it was actually pretty good here, a little better than fine. Almost everything else in the deck is a card I was already really excited about, except for like Sanguine Siphoner and stuff. So it's one of the few cards I could give overperformer to. So we'll give it to that. Or the Squad Ralliers, but I mean, I made them the artwork. I named the deck after them. I was excited about their ability to grab our burglar hats and stuff. Like, can we really give the overperformer to something I was already saying was going to be one of our better synergies? I don't think so. But that'll do it for today's draft. That is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.